Hey, it's just so Trish, and this is my last video in the series of the talk I had with Amanda at the Fundamental Home, and I really feel like this is a very great video. It is how to prepare your child for college, especially college like at 14, 16 years old. Amanda's not the only one I know that has done this, and especially without like a rigorous box curriculum that guarantees you to get them in. Nothing like that. She's got 10 years of homeschooling experience. She has graduated too, and both are got into college just fine. She has another one that's on plan to start college at 16, and I really just wanted her to walk through on how you do it. So this is it. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please go to Amanda's channel. Let her know you've enjoyed watching her here at Just So Trish. Make sure you subscribe, and you subscribe to me so you're always caught up with whatever it is I've found wonderful to share with the world. It is kind of a lengthy video. I didn't want to edit it to be too small of a video because there's just so much information here. So definitely stick with it, please. The other aspect too is, where do you stand on preparing your kids for college? Is it even is it a goal just to get them out with a high school degree at 18? Or are you trying to make plans to start them in college or starting college classes before you graduate? What's your plan? This becomes there's some of us that just are like, let's get our kids out. And there's others of us, it's like, I want my kids' educational time as shortened as possible. So here we go with Amanda, and please just share the love and let me know, did you love the series? Because this is it, and maybe I can talk her into doing another one. So, talk to you later.
All right, Amanda, how long have you been homeschooling?
Okay, I'm Amanda from the Fundamental Home, and I have been homeschooling for about 10 years now. My children started in public school, then they went to private school, and then I finally pulled them home to homeschool because none of those other options were working for us. Now my oldest son is 19, and he will get his bachelor's degree this August from a state university, Western Carolina University. He's getting a bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship and a minor in business law. And my younger son is 16, and he is also a full-time college student. He's just at a local community college starting his first year, and he's doing really well. And I just have one left at home now, my daughter. She's 13, and she is hoping to graduate when she is 15 because she wants to get out faster than her brothers. But we'll see about that. She's got a lot of work ahead of her to do that.
And I think this is important because I have a lot of people that I end up talking to, and they're so terrified, like, will my kid get into college? And I'm like, why are you waiting till 18 to go to college? Yes. If they know what they need to know and they're ready to start the courses, just start the coursework. And a big thing about it is, conquering the fear of going ahead and letting your child go to college.
It's true. I deal with a couple of fears from homeschool moms all the time. First one is that they'll mess up their child and they won't do the higher maths. It's always the higher maths. Everybody's worried about the higher maths. And the other one is actually letting them go. They don't want them to go to the secular colleges, the secular universities. And we're Christians, and I understand that the fear that there's all this danger out there. Now, we don't let our children go away. They stay pretty local. But they do attend college at these secular universities. But the goal is that by the time they're old enough to go, that they're prepared to deal with the situations that they would encounter there. So that's a lot of training in and of itself. And as far as the higher maths go, I don't teach them. And my children do really well. My oldest son was a National Merit Scholar commended student. And so he got super high test scores, super high PSAT and SAT. And I never went beyond geometry with him. And I'll tell you what I did. I looked in advance to see what those tests required. And all my friends were worried about, oh, we haven't done trig yet. We haven't done calculus yet. I'm not sure how he's going to do. I never even did those. What we did was we looked at the test, and the test was 80% algebra. So we focused on algebra and focused on making sure that he understood that backwards and forwards. And that was an effective strategy.
And that's a really good strategy coming from just the engineering math background that I am. The reality is it's better to know your fundamental algebra forwards and backwards, because if you do not know them, it doesn't matter how much insight you have on the things above that, you are going to struggle with all your future classes. And the whole goal of these college placement type tests is just to show that you're college ready, not that you've already done college.
Yeah. And I'll even say this, my younger son, he did not test into college level math. He had to do a remedial math in college. And I was okay with that because, and I'll tell you why. First of all, he actually is very skilled in math. He's just not a great test taker. So even though I was kind of worried about his English, he tested straight into English and that wasn't a problem. But his math, he had actually taken the English test first and then had to take the math test right behind it and was just kind of freaked out and stressed about the time of it and just kind of, and he even told me, Mom, I blew it. But I said, you know what, that's okay. Take the remedial math, no big deal. You know, children go to public school for 4 years, take all these high maths and still end up having to take a remedial math or two. It's not strange. It happens. Just take it and move on. There's nothing shameful about it. You haven't failed your child. They're just as good as every other child. The fact that they're in college, I mean, that just kind of makes them a step above. Do you know what I mean? Like not every child goes. So as far as academics goes. So, I mean, all of those things, they just come together and you don't have to be beating yourself up about the areas that you feel that they lack, because the fact is that everyone has areas that they lack, and you just have to work with your child's skills and abilities and just be positive and help them to move forward with what they can do.
And so sometimes we get into the realm of what is educated and what does that really mean? You know, and I think it's important too, you know, like you didn't do all the higher maths. And the reality is if you need to, all you have to do is stay 2 steps ahead of your child's education. And you can end up with a degree right there with, you know, if you're in a realm that you don't know. If you know how to read and write and arithmetic, you're good.
Yeah, I'm finishing my degree now in early childhood education. So I'm going to have a teaching certificate here in the next year or so, Lord willing. But in all of the education that I've had since then about training and teaching children, I think I actually got a lot more valuable insight from teaching my own children. And I mean, can you just imagine if every teacher in America had to teach their own children before they went in the classroom? I think their methods for teaching would be completely different. And I found that a lot of the methods that they teach are really about classroom control, dealing with specific childhood issues, but not a lot about actual teaching, not a lot about actual, this is how you teach math. You know, there's, I think, 1 class that you have to do on, you know, how you teach math. So they're not getting, and that's 1 semester, that's just a few weeks. That's really not much more, you know, than every parent has just coming out of high school. I mean, if you've gone through high school, then you probably have enough math skill to get your child through high school. You know, even if you don't remember everything, like you said, there's tons of great curriculum out there. A lot of homeschool moms I know, we're part of groups and we're connected with one another in community. I highly recommend that. And a lot of us, if we don't feel really good about a certain subject, then we'll trade off. You know, we'll say, hey, you know, I don't mind tutoring your child in algebra if you don't mind teaching my kid a little bit about chemistry, because, you know, maybe they really love science, but they're not so big on the math. Maybe they're, you know, a professional writer, but they're really not super good at math. You know, there's lots of trading going on. People are supporting one another, and that's why we make this community. But like I said, you don't have to be intimidated by the process. You probably already know enough to get them through high school level and into college. And from that point, they can learn, because the first college level class where we are is called quantitative math. And it's just math. It's not even into algebra yet. So, I mean, if they can get into the basic math things, then they can get in. And if not, like I said with my younger son, do the remedial. There's no stress there. You know, a lot of people, you know, get to be adults, decide to go to college, have to take remedial math. No shame in it. You know, the shame is when you don't learn. The shame is not, hey, I got to take a step back and study a little more. The shame is that you stop learning. So we're not doing that. We're going to take wherever we are and move forward with that.
You're right. I mean, it is. And it cuts, you know, I fight with, you know, I'll just educate them as much as possible without even putting them into the university system, you know, and all the nerve wracking on that. I'm like, wait a minute. I just need to get them by 14, because our year is 14, and get them what they need to do so they can start taking those classes. And just let them go at it. You know, they don't have to do the class or the CLEP. They don't need to CLEP out through things.
No.
You know, instead of spending the time, energy, and money and frustration, you know, there's somebody who can teach it for them. Now, I will say you want to be careful because you want to make sure your child is developmentally ready to take on the task, and you don't throw your child right into 3 or 4 classes. You probably want to start with one course, because at 14, if it's a dual enrollment course, it is still going to be on their college transcripts, even if they don't do well.
That's true. I saw Miss Mahogany said something about that, and I thought that was really valuable information, because in our state, they cannot enter until they're 16. You can't go before then. You can if you go through a lot of rigmarole, but we didn't want to do all that, so we just waited till our oldest was 16 to put him in. Now, he probably could have attended full time at 14, so we really just did a lot of busy work from 14 to 16. But my younger son, even though he's super intelligent, he would not have been prepared to go in at 14, not even for one class. And that's okay. I mean, I think that people set all of these standards for themselves, and if they fall short, they get really disappointed and feel like they failed their children. They're not good parents. They're not good homeschoolers. Maybe I should just throw them in school. And that's not it. Every single child is different. Every single parent is different. Every single book is different. Every single college is different. So when you wrap all of that up together, there's no structure that's going to fit everyone. You know, my daughter wants to go and, you know, wants to be done when she's 15. She still won't be able to go to college till she's 16. So I said, well, kind of see, I'm not rushing her, because I don't think she is going to be one of those ones that can just jump in, you know, the second she's ready. So we'll see how that goes. But, you know, you just have to be wise, and I think most parents are, and understand what each child needs. And if they need a little bit longer, then hey, they need a little bit longer, and that's okay, because like I said, they'll all end up in the same place. You know, for our family, my husband said when we started homeschooling that all of our children had to get bachelor's degrees. Didn't matter if it was in pottery, didn't matter what it was in, you know, just some kind of 4-year degree, because he felt that that was the standard, that, you know, they could work at McDonald's and have a management position and be able to support their family. It didn't matter what the 4-year degree was. But I don't think that that's necessarily important. You know, now that our boys are older, my younger son, we thought about the idea of sending him to learn auto mechanics or any of those other trades. We would have loved for him to do that. He's an artist. He wants to study art in the long term, but he's made a plan for the moment to get a teaching degree, and he wants to, this is his plan, he wants to go to Japan and teach there, and then he'll go to art school in Japan. Okay, great. I love it. Whatever your plan is. Regardless, you got to get a 4-year degree before you go anywhere. So these are the kinds of things that you just have to figure out each child and their needs, what direction they're headed, see how you can support them. Maybe they get a 4-year degree, maybe they don't. You know, I have a really great friend whose husband has a masonry business, and her son has been working with her husband in that masonry business for the last couple of years. And so he's just about, I think 17 now, and he's planning to take over that masonry business. He is not planning on going to college. And you know what? He has a valuable skill. He's learned a trade. He's learned how to run the business. He doesn't need college. The boy will be fine forever.
Well, and the part that comes into that, you know, you need that piece of paper to get you a job. Mm-hmm. Not to keep a job. You could have that piece of paper and 10 other ones, and it won't keep you a job if you don't do it well. Hold on.